I'm back.
Every time I walk out that door, every time I interact with anybody new, my purpose is to help change.
It's time to celebrate life. If you know that you're in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know you want better for your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you have what it takes to be in charge of your life, it's time to stand up.
Well, hello. It is Shanice Darlene Stanley Cradle Green with another episode of Dreamstock. If people are the most valuable resource on earth, imagine what our dreams are worth. I have the honor and the privilege of introducing somebody who has been in my life, as people would say, in my life, since I was a young woman. Almost a girl. My freshman year in college, I met Vern Wilson. Vern, welcome to Dreams.
Yes. Good evening, Shanice.
Girl, first of all, let me tell you, I appreciate that I called you today and was like, hey, you trying to come on the show? What you want to do? That's saggy pride. Let's go ahead and
Sign
put
me
that
up.
out in the streets right now.
Sign me up.
And then I love that we can do a hybrid show. You don't even have to get on camera. You just, because we do what we want to do. I mean, you've been doing what you wanted to do for so long that I literally was this many months old today when I found out that in my mind, Vern, I know you because we were in a band together. But what did you tell me today?
Girl, I wasn't in no band. I was a band groupie.
So, are you sure you were never in the band?
Shanice, I ain't played no instrument. That's what I said. Girl, I ain't playing no instrument.
Vern, someone told me about a phrase today. He said, oh, I'm a stand. I said, I knew he didn't mean like we were doing dances in the stands. I said, what's the stand? He said, oh, it's somebody who follows Golden Delight. You're a stand. These are like new terms, Vern.
Okay.
I just want you to know that if we had been playing a betting game, I would have lost today.
Yeah, we both would have lost. Mm-hmm.
If the question was Vern Wilson in the band, and here's why. I would be right. They would be right. I mean, did you play an instrument in the band? No. However, I was recently on HBCU Alumni House Party. It's airing tomorrow. And they say, what was it like in the band in the 90s? And I was like, whoa, I have so much I want to say to answer this question. But what first came to mind, I said, we were a family. So your family might not play an instrument, but you were so much a part of band life. And when we were preparing for this show, and you said that you drove to Indiana for the Circle City Classic, what's crazy is I talk about Circle City Classic on HBCU Alumni House Party. So, Vern, yes. I just want to thank you for your loyalty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It was much. I wouldn't trade those 90 years for anything. Like, that was like, because right then we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have all this modern technology, social media. Nobody could take a picture and send it to us and say, I was here. It was like you had to be there.
you that's just it, Vern. We were there. We were
Yeah.
present in our moments. We were not caught up in, I'm gonna do this for the stands, for the fans. We
Right.
literally were doing it because, well, that's what we wanted to do.
That's right.
And I recently started asking people, do you remember me? Because sometimes people I don't think should know me because they're young, they'll either remember me coming in the band room, or one gentleman, he said, I remember you. And he was so young. I said, how old were you when I marched? He said, 10.
Mm-mm.
And so, and so
Please. I got
just
shoes
this
older than
past,
that.
man, he's like 20 something, maybe early 30s, but 20 years
Yeah.
ago. And so he yesterday, a couple of people were like, well, you a Golden Delight. Fine, I haven't marched in the blue and gold marching machine since 1995. And when I asked you, what was it that you saw as a band member? How did you see me out there?
I saw you out there grinding. I think I told you before, it was like you were doing it or going in, but like right now it was like you doing the most. No, you was going in. You was showing them what it was supposed to look like. Like I say, the kids nowadays, oh, she was over the top. She was, doing too much. No, 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 no. You got to go out there and give it what you got.
I
Leave it
had
on the
something
field,
to
as they
give.
say. Leave it on the field. A
You
performer. You
know,
are a true performer.
thank you, Vern. And I I really honestly loved it. I loved, and there
Yeah.
are moments when I felt seen in the band. I'm gonna tell you one of my favorite occurrences.
Uh-huh.
It was my freshman year, and we were starting to dance. We were putting our flags down, and we were starting to dance. And at the time, Dr. Ruff was our assistant, and he, made sure auxiliary was moving into the evolution of who they are today.
Mm-hmm.
So we were trying this dance routine out, and we did the dance. We did the dance. And he said, stop. He stopped the band. He said, Golden Delight off the field.
Mm-mm.
And we knew he was not pleased with our delivery. And so we came off the field. And as I was coming off, he said, no, you go back. And he had the band play for me. And I just remember in that moment knowing that he saw something special in me.
Right.
And to your point, when I came off, one of my team members was like, you went too hard.
Mm-mm. You didn't go
Like, you
hard
didn't
enough,
have to,
ma'am.
like, no, it was the one time in my whole entire life that the whole band played for me,
Absolutely.
and he was like, this is where we want to elevate to. And it
Mm-hmm.
was such a humbling moment. And what you are saying to me is, you saw me too, but you didn't
Yeah.
see me in a mean, oh, she's so extra way. And you didn't know that that's something that bothers me when people see me, that they think I'm trying to be extra. And I just started
Oh
telling
my
them,
goodness.
right, this is just my regular.
Right. Well, and it's always like you knew there was something that you needed to do. So,
Oh, you're
once you
supposed to.
once you got your Golden Delight outfit on, and it was time, it was showtime basically. And so, I could understand that when you got out there, you knew what you needed to do.
Yes. Well, here's a little known Nisi fact about Golden Delight. Again, Dr. Ruff just having insight into who I was as a person. My junior year, which was my last year marching, I was captain, and there was a young lady who was a very strong dancer. And I remember we all had to make up, 16 to 32 counts, Vern. And she made up something really, really hard. You know, it was like up and down and fan kick and pop and you know, everybody was like, we're never gonna get this. And I remember Kenny coming out because it wasn't, I mean, excuse me, Dr. Ruff. Went back in time, my bad. I remember him coming out and it didn't look that good. And the young lady, you know, I had her out front because I wanted this 32 counts, and it was like,
Right.
it's just too hard. We're not going to get this. And he said, run it again. And next thing I know, I looked at him, he looked at me, and he was like, you better do right and kill everything. And music started, and down and up and fan kick over and pop and pop. And in that moment, I was like, I danced with a woman who was a professional dancer. And then there were other dancers that were way stronger than me, you know.
Right. Right.
And I was like the Devin Miles of the Golden Delight, because I didn't feel confident because I hadn't taken years of dance.
Right. I get it.
And so I was overcompensating is what y'all saw. I seriously was out there beating my drum in the form of dance. Like, I don't want to get found out. Oh my gosh, I don't even know these terms. What is a pas de bourrée? But to know that it is a gift now, Vern. And it's almost like it's all these years I've seen you. I run from you because I'm like, we're just gonna have so much fun. My life could possibly change forever. I start hanging with band people.
It's crazy.
I know.
It's wild.
So I'm so glad to have you on the show today, Vern.
Absolutely, Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride. Vern, you know, not just band-wise, 90s at A&T was just magical.
Different.
Yeah. What's your greatest memory?
Oh, I don't have a greatest memory. I just
Yeah, I
have
know, me either.
you know, it's like all of them together, just like, oh my God, just from going to class and walking across campus and seeing folks out, kind of social, you know, the socialization that we used to have that's now online, you know, going to class, seeing faces, talking, being able to be outside.
Ooh, Vern, that the strip, yo,
The strip?
magic.
What?
That was like a magical vortex.
Yes. And before they tore down Scott, the not the was the tree of knowledge, walking by and seeing the fellas out there.
Mm,
What?
mm.
And then where the union, well, excuse me, what's it? I don't know what they call it now. They got a new name for this new student union, but you know, the wall, you know, all of that was there. It's not there anymore, but still, just brings back a whole lot of great times. And then
Yeah.
summer school, when I went to summer school, you know, just to be on campus, still on campus, like, you don't want to go home? Not really.
No, no.
Just a reason to be
And
here.
and you know, I was from Indiana, so there was no really going home for me,
Uh-huh.
even though my family was from North Carolina. The one thing that surprised me about, you know, you being in the band is, is you traveled with us. How were you not in the band, Vern?
Man, you know,
You were at Circle City Classic,
I
Indiana.
went y'all went
I'm
to
from
Hampton or Norfolk or something
Indiana.
too. I went to a lot of places. Filled up with you know, trying to get in the game behind the band. Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to walk in with the band now?
Couldn't imagine it at all. Well, yes, I could. You know, only at homecoming is I really noticed it nowadays. But because nowadays I actually buy tickets and I just go ahead and sit out there, be ready when y'all come in because it's just too much.
Yeah.
But when I was at homecoming, maybe a couple of years ago, and they marched in the back gate, it was like a massive production of people with name tags and lanyards on their chest, and I was like, "Who is all these people?" Like you know,
Authorized
before you just had the gold
Haitian
jackets, right?
people. Yeah, they were authorized, sanctioned people.
Yes, with cameras and video cameras and carrying extra equipment and stuff. I was like, who are these people?
Because I I remember us being very protective of each other. We didn't really have any identifiers, but we knew we
Hmm.
were us and you were one of us. So you were able to do just all the things that we were doing. I wasn't sure what instrument I thought you played, but as you started to tell me how much you were not in the band, as you stood by this, I remember then like seeing you march beside us. And what's interesting, like I was trying to remember, I think during band camp, and so this makes sense. If you were in summer school, band camp would come around, you'd be there. And we
Hmm.
did march down every day, it feels like, because I remember not knowing the cadences my freshman year. And there were days, it was, we'd march down there and I would watch Charlene. Dun, 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 and I'd be like, I can't wait till I can do it. Dun, 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 dun. I was like, oh, my
Hmm.
day is coming. And the day that she was like, she explained it to us. She said, like, we had to learn how to march and do our hands, and there was a lot of protocols that we
Hmm.
had to go through before she was going to say, one day she was going to say, catch it. And I can catch stuff really fast. At least back then. Well, I still do. But I remember the very first day that she said catch it. That was her favorite cadence. And it just changed my life because I was, from that moment on, nobody mattered.
Mm-mm. It was your time.
And I mean,
Light
I didn't
on.
care if we were going down to the field for practice, if it was the Friday night kind of show out, everybody come see us, or it was a true game, a parade. But I'm always like that when I dance.
Hmm.
So, like you said, I was in my normal. I don't know what to say about
Yeah,
me.
yeah. You were born to do this,
um,
if you will. I was born to do this. This was my path.
yeah. Oh,
This was
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So what was it like for students though when the band would go down there?
Yeah, so definitely, because it didn't really dawn on me like that's when y'all march down every day, summer school. Like I just imagine y'all march down every day anyway. But you right, I remembered it. It was all my memories pretty much jumbled up together. It was all a good time. So coming from summer school, living on campus, it's like I got to get to the yard. I got to get there. I got to get to the strip. They're gonna march down before they go to practice. They got to march down. They're gonna meet at the band room. They're gonna march down. Of course, it's different now because the band room is on that side of campus. But now, I mean, but then in the '90s, yeah, the march down was it, and the march back because then y'all break it down right there in front of the bookstore.
Girl, do you remember the breakdown in front of the bookstore?
And then y'all march in. Then we had to run up to the band room to see y'all go in. Like that was a part too. Like if you weren't gonna be in front of the bookstore, you had to go see y'all going in the band room. Like they're gonna go in. Like we got to go there too.
So
I can only catch one or two. One or the other. But I had to make at least
because we
one.
were moving, we were on the
Yeah,
move. We
yeah.
were
We ain't no
we
we ain't no athletes. I was an athlete, but I'm just like I ain't running up no hill. I'm already be there. I got to get my spot. Hmm.
Vern. So let me get this right. Did we do Aggie Pride? Aggie Pride at the bookstore? Aggie
Yeah,
Pride. Dun
yeah.
dun 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 dun. Is that what we
And
did at the bookstore?
yes, that's what
Okay.
I remember correctly.
This
Yes.
all feels right. It all feels familiar. And so I wondered, we used to P Funk into the band room even when we
Hmm.
practiced.
Yeah, and I'm not for 100% sure if it was only on that Friday of regular class or was it the summer school But definitely, y'all used to march into the band room.
Yeah. So, then we didn't have lights at the stadium, Vern.
No. And y'all was on that backfield out there with
Yeah.
car
And
lights.
so when you got to the band room, it was almost like a night game. Like you felt like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because it was dark and it was like, we're getting ready to do this. And when that doggone P Funk would drop, Vern.
Mm-hmm.
Now at that point, if I was already in one zone,
In your zone, ma'am.
then something else would take over me. I would,
Mm-hmm.
you put that flag out, and you be ready to hit the bump, bump, don't, boom, 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 and all I was thinking was, "Thank you, God. I am a golden delight. It is
Mm-hmm.
such an honor." Because the road to getting there wasn't easy for me. I was a thickum, so I almost didn't make it. And dancing was a gift.
Yep.
And Dr. Hodge was such a man of excellence. And I could feel the movement of Golden Delight evolving. And I knew I was a part of something special. And I felt loved. I really did. And so, Vern, I really just want to, first of all, I know we talked a lot already into this show, but, thank you for being a part of my memories.
Absolutely.
And I don't know that people always hear how they touch someone's life.
Yeah.
And you surprised me. Vern, what were you doing in Indiana for the Circle City class?
So, Michelle and Tammy and Kira are all my homegirls. So me and Michelle was like thick as thieves at that time. So and she was like, "Well, we're going to the Circle City Classic. A&T's playing." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, I should go." She was like, "How you gonna get there?" I said, "I'm gonna get there. I'd love to go." And she was like, so one of my other homegirls who wasn't in school, she was of age to rent us a car. And so she was like, "I want to go too." And I was like, "Well, hey, sound like we're going." 9 hours later. First of all, we actually met the band outside the band room before y'all even left. And we kind of sent y'all off, kind of saw, try to find out where y'all was staying at, and what time y'all was supposed to get there. Because we needed a destination at the time, because we needed to look it up and plan out the route, because we had to print out the map because we ain't had no cell phone. You know what I'm saying? So we had to print out
That's
the
why
map.
this is all miraculous.
Yeah, we got to get our highways down because we never been there before, so we can't get lost in the rental car. And so we met the band there. We came in the morning, and that's when I seen Mike Staples trip over that damn suitcase and lost his shit. Oh, excuse me, lost his soul over the suitcase. Child, laugh at that thing still. Anyway, that's off subject. But yeah, we came. We got the information about the hotel, and um we planned our trip. What time we needed to leave? It was 9 hours in the car. I knew the bus was gonna take all day. So we kind of slept in, and then we bust off when it was game day. Mm-hmm. We rented a car. We drove up
Where'd y'all stay?
in Michelle's room on the floor. She told whoever in the room with her, like, my girls is coming, and I was like, okay, cool. I don't mind sleeping on no floor for free. Please.
And where did y'all buy the tickets?
We got in there with the band. Girl, stop playing. Girl, stop playing, girl. Please. We carried it all the way through. Michelle was like, just get back in, walk in. I was like, are you serious? She was like, yeah, they ain't gonna know. I was like, okay then.
Oh my! We have pictures with D.L. Hughley at that game.
Yeah.
We and I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana. So when you talk about Dreamstock, dreams coming true, I'm
Mm-hmm.
growing up watching the Circle City Classic, and I'm very, very excited because I'm like, man, one day I wanted to be a dance girl in college, and it wasn't a one. It was, oh, I'm going to college and I'm gonna be a dance girl. I used to tell people that all the time. You know, I'm gonna. I didn't even think about that I could get cut,
That wasn't an option, ma'am.
but I did. I did get cut
That was not an option.
because I was too thick, and Dr. Ruff advocated for me, and I lost weight, and kind of the rest is history.
Absolutely. Well,
But
her story.
yes, but that's the beauty of determination and
Absolutely.
going after your dreams. And so I still dance, Fern, and I
I
am
believe
dancing
it.
in the 50th anniversary of hip hop in some capacity in the city of Raleigh on August 12th.
Okay.
And I'm so excited
It
because
sounds exciting.
thank you, because I get to dance with my new community. Before this, are you familiar with Chavis Heights?
Of course I am.
Did you do track over there?
I do track over there now. Uh-huh.
Okay, so
They
I was
just
from.
renovated.
What'd you say?
They just renovated the whole place. They built a
Y-
new building.
Yes.
They added a
Yeah.
couple. They have a walking track for the community, and they just upgrade. They put down some new turf down around it. Not asphalt. What is it called?
Squishy
The
stuff that
Mondo,
feels good under your feet.
the Mondo stuff for track. So they
It
put
is
that
not
down.
called squishy stuff that feels good under your feet,
Yes,
Vern.
they put that down, and all the way around. And so, yeah, so I coach track in my spare time. So yes, I'm very familiar with Davis Heights. It's a very nice area, and it's definitely come up in the last couple of years. Like I
Yes.
said, the new building, the upgraded track. Yeah, lots of people are sharing that in that new money put over there in Davis Heights, old school Raleigh.
Yes, and we thank our city of Raleigh for,
Absolutely.
man, passing the parks bond. We're getting a pool over there. So
Mm-hmm.
we've kind of missed each other a little bit in our service there because I was the cheerleading coach for 10 years. And like I'm
Okay.
saying, I couldn't be around you too much, Vern. That was too much yummy goodness. Then it's no telling what would have
It's
happened.
that yummy goodness. I know
It
that's
was
right.
just it was so yes, I loved cheering, but I was really there to dance. And I've been out there a couple of times and done some kind of dance classes, and looking forward to bringing the community back out there, Vern, and
Mm-hmm.
um, sewing into the community resources and education. We used to do that, right? We could bring
Mm-hmm.
all the families together, and we could have, like, the Fifth Third bus came out there. They had an e-bus, and they helped people build plans to repair their credit. And
Absolutely.
when we have the opportunity to gather again, like we used to do in the 90s, Vern, we really then start to see social innovation taking form, because we have people intersecting, and of course the culture around Chavis has changed, is more diverse, and I'm looking forward to making it inclusive.
Gentrification is taking a hold on the area.
It has, and
Hmm.
there comes a point where if we don't say, hey, well, welcome, and these are things that we enjoy and we do, then what have I done as Coach Nisi? I haven't done my part.
Hmm.
So I'm excited to be able to dance again. And I went out a few weeks ago, and there were lots of people that young kids, and they were so funny. They didn't even know me, and they went to camera yelling, Coach Nisi is back. I wanted to be like, girl, I never left. I've always been right here doing dancing somewhere. And now I'm like, yay, back to Chavis we go. So
That'll be nice.
thank you. You
Well,
mentioned track, and you are also at Fayetteville State.
yeah, I'm an assistant track coach at Fayetteville State since
That is
2019.
so people don't know how many Olympic track runners are in North Carolina.
Oh yeah, there's lots. I mean, A&T has put out a few, and of course NC State definitely.
And St.
Carolina,
Aug
most
too.
definitely. Huh?
And St. Aug too.
Oh yeah, definitely St. Aug, because St. Aug, Coach
Hey,
Williams
Mark.
is
Yeah,
the
just
was the
popped
Olympic
in. Y'all were
coach.
talking track, and I was actually just watching the Olympic race where the young lady, it begins with a K. I can't think of her name, but she is an A&T graduate, and she'll be running
Ky-
in Budapest
uh,
because she finished in third. It begins with a K, and the name is slipping me. Maybe
White,
Renee knows.
Kyra
And yeah,
White.
yep, that's it exactly.
Yeah, she's a NCAA champion in the 200, our first ever
Yep. And
indoors.
she just finished third behind Sharika Richardson and the other young lady, Jackson, I think is
Sharika,
her
you got the names backwards. Sharika Jackson and
name. Right.
Shakari.
Thank you. Shakari Richardson. You got it. I had the names backwards, but totally, you know the idea.
That's all right, but you was in the right sport. That's good.
Yeah.
Y'all, I want to welcome to the stage Mr. Mark Lee. This man can do it all. He makes sure these live streams get out to you. He stays on top of current news, and he is always welcome to pop into Nisi Vision's Dreamstock.
Well,
Man,
y'all were
Mark,
talking
it's good
about
to
all
have
kinds of
you
things
join
that I
us.
know about, and it was right up my alley and everything. Because I heard the person talking about track, and my cousin, Mr. Body, is actually over there in Southeast Raleigh and has been involved with the football team. So I'm thinking that they may know Keith Body, who is my cousin and has been involved in track for a number of years, and is also friends with some of those folks that throw those parties there in Raleigh and all along those lines. So definitely.
Absolutely.
So
Did I say
that's part of,
Kayla White? I might have said her name wrong. It's Kayla White.
yep. I think that's it and everything. And then y'all were talking
Yeah.
about Chavis Heights, and I was just telling Shanice a while back that I remember when there was a party that Miss Patton put on. There was a fundraiser, I think, for one of her fashion shows, and this was probably like in the 90s or 2000s, but that was before all the renovations took place there in Chavis Heights, and they had it outside, and her daughter, Chandra, trying to think, Shonda Patton, and she's married now, so maybe Shonda Patton hyphenated, whatever it is. But she is one of those hip hop dancers and has also done a lot of work herself. So I don't know if you've run across them or not, but both Shanta and Angela used to be very active in the Raleigh area.
Man, please get us in touch with them, Mark, because we also want to do our very best to make sure the community knows that these experiences are not just happening to prepare for the 50th anniversary of hip hop. My dance group has already been asked to be a part of the African American Culture Festival, and we have another opportunity during Black History Month. So, we're booking because, I mean, I'm 48 years old and I still like to dance. There's a challenge out right now, and they're doing the Running Man, they're doing the Roger Rabbit, the RoboCop. These are our dances, Vern. These are our dances.
My dances.
And yeah, we it's very nostalgic.
Shanice, what's age got to do with dancing? There's a group here in Durham that is called the Dancing Divas. It is a cheerleading squad, and I don't think all of those women are 50, 60, 70. There might even be some that are 80s. And I know that at the last parade, I literally saw a drill team. And the interesting thing was that the numbers of the people on the drill team was literally their age. So like if somebody was 58 would be their number and everything.
All right,
and in this last Christmas parade.
Man, so I'm doing a camp. Vern and Mark, it's youth 7 to 17 and elders 55 and up. It's called Camp Fusion. And I'm in charge of the elders. And ironically, Mark, I want to see, how do I get a conversation out into the universe next week when I'm at this camp, because, we're going to be telling stories and talking about wonderful things. But that's we need to see, is more generational intersecting.
What is the information on your camp? When, where, what, and what time?
So Camp Fusion is happening in Sophia, North Carolina. Community advocate and leader Isaiah Moore has this brilliant concept. He actually went to the camp himself as a young man, and he's in his mid-20s, and decided he wanted to make this experience available to our community as we're starting to battle the fact that the loneliness pandemic is not just about elders. People are having a hard time integrating back into what the new normal looks like. And Vern, like you said, we didn't have cell phones, so we didn't care about validation. These kids are, some of them are really starting to isolate because of the internet. So this is an opportunity. They'll still have their phones with them, but they're going to get to see the people who never knew about the internet. They're going to get to hear their stories and play and be outside, like you said we were. So definitely looking forward to everyone just go online, pull up Camp Fusion, North Carolina. And these are the kinds of opportunities that we also want to be sowing seeds into. This is the name and likeness of community leaders who are doing something worthy of support. But before I go on and on and on about that, because I will mention Camp Fusion again at the end, I want to just talk to you a little bit, Vern and Mark, about how we did not have these cell phones in the 90s, and we had opportunity to do name and likeness. Wow, imagine. Because we were so authentic about who we were that you really got almost anything could have happened in the 90s. That's why it was so fabulous. And so now what happens that truly anything can happen and you can capture it, So you have, you're doing track. I was a banker, so I get asked a lot, Vern. It's really been like weird how people are like, Shanice, what do you know about name and likeness, or my business name Nisi? Can you tell us a little bit about what they're doing? And you know what I told them, Vern? I said, listen, everybody's trying to get these major deals, and Nike and Under Armour. Hey, why don't you try to partner with some of our local businesses?
Yeah.
And when you and I were talking about that, I appreciate you really considering that might be an avenue for our athletes to be able to, one, get introduced into how to negotiate contracts and also be able to position themselves. But a lot of times they don't know how to get to these businesses, Vern. What are you finding over there in your world?
Well, it's so very new. When I was at A&T, I was a track athlete as well, and this was.
Oh, you in the Hall of Fame, Vern?
I am in the Hall of Fame class of 2016.
You right now, you need to charge me to be on here for your name and likeness.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So when I was in school, when we were in school, it wasn't possible because you could not be an amateur athlete and get paid. Right. So now that is a possibility. I'm learning just like everybody else. And since I'm a coach, that is one of the forms that we have to sign as you sign your contract for the year. Do you have any NIL deals that the school needs to know about, because they are sponsored by somebody and you possibly can't wear or do whatever you're doing if the NIL deal conflicts with your contract with the school. So like if, for instance, Fayetteville State is Under Armour sponsored. So I can't go out here and make a deal with Nike.
Right,
and actually I have to wear Nike gear because I I work at Fayetteville State and we are Under Armour sponsor. So that's another learning curve that, us as new people into this NIL thing have to find out. So not to say that I have a Nike deal. I wish. No, I don't have that. But that's just an example.
Yeah, you know what, Vern, in the 90s, we had, you remember, I think it was maybe Budweiser. They had this commercial, do a little dance, make a little love, good down tonight. And do you remember we came out with the Bud flag?
I don't remember that. Wow.
Yeah, we I don't know if they gave us money or they just gave us a flag, who knows? But we took that show to the Panthers, and I remember being around, like, you remember how you said, like, the cameras and somebody from marketing from the Panthers, they were like, oh, we have a different beer sponsor.
Yeah, like, you can't use that, sir.
So yeah, it's important that we do talk about what we know. So I appreciate you for that. And again, the more we share information, I think the more we are going to find out that there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of options, as well as information available so that we can do this the right way and win. It wasn't created to be a secret. It was created for us to collaborate and help our athletes to be seen, to make people aware of their excellence. And
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited, that even track and field is very important here, even though we hear so much about the big three, but track and field is huge in North Carolina.
Very.
It's not just track and field. There's also a very active tennis society here and everything. And I was actually going to tease Vern and everything because I just saw the young Spanish gentleman who I think is like in his early 20s, Mr. Alvarez, that just won the Wimbledon today, also recently signed a deal with Rolex. So I want to know if Vern's got a deal with Rolex yet, because I'm thinking he could be sporting one of those Rolex watches and all along those lines, as he just has a deal with both Nike, who you just mentioned, and with Rolex. So I want to know if you've got one of those Nike deals. I mean, one of those Rolex deals yet.
Right. I wish. Yeah, because Rolex sponsors Wimbledon, so don't they get a Rolex when they win Wimbledon?
Yep, I think they do. Yeah,
that's crazy. He walked right into that one. I appreciate it.
He got a Rolex from Wimbledon. Yeah, because they get they sponsored the tournament like the Australian, the French Open, the U.S. Open, and the Wimbledon. And then he also has an endorsement. And like you said, he just beat Jokic earlier today and everything. So
he beat Jokic.
I think that's his second major win. So he's I think he's like 20, if that. So he's a
instant millionaire.
Yeah. Oh, the funny thing is there was an article I was reading where he is literally still living at that age with his mom and dad. So I think he's over there saying, "Hey, I'm going to keep this money in the family as long as I can, and
moving on
I'm
up.
going to, not have to spend money on rent and other things as long as his mom and dad are keeping him in the house." So they haven't kicked him out yet.
Yeah, that is sweet. Those are the good stories.
Yes. Speaking of your story, when you were notified that you were going into the Hall of Fame at A&T, tell us, like, what were your accolades and what was it like to get that acknowledgement?
At A&T you have to apply. You have to apply to be in the hall. So you have to make sure that your accolades are worthwhile of being honored. So you basically have to put together a package, and you say, A&T, I would like to be in your Hall of Fame, and they're gonna say, well, let me see.
Yeah. So what was in your package, Vern?
Okay, so in my package, I was MEAC. At that time, we were in the MEAC, so I was MEAC champion. 7 of the 8 times we had MEAC. I was a school record holder in the shot put. I did the shot. Those were my events: the shot put, in the discus, and the javelin. So from the time I got there, I was the MEAC champion indoors and outdoors. 7 of the 8 times that I competed, I had the school record for the shot put and the discus. I had the MEAC record in the shot put indoors and outdoors. For A&T. So it was. I had a really good time. I loved my university.
Vern, did you put the you were in the band in your package?
I didn't put I was in the band in my package. I didn't. That might have got me in a little bit faster. That was my band.
Yes, but what was it like to, the induction and, because like you said, it's good that you put it all on paper, but they didn't have to accept this, your application, and they did. What was it like? Like, who else was in your class of induction?
Okay, so Chris McNeil, he played football. He was number 9. They call him 21 sacks. Maceo Bolin. No, he was also number 9. He was a quarterback.
Ironically, that's my line number. I'm a 9. I feel connected.
Absolutely. Okay, then. Yeah, so he was quarterback at our time. Chris McNeil also was in the 90s as well. Angela Green played basketball. Samara Dobbins played basketball. Josette Battle, she ran track with me. She's from Raleigh. And as a matter of fact, her brother got both of us in. Well, advised both of us. Shannon Robinson, he was already in, and he was like, y'all need to apply. Y'all need to let people know that the track team was doing something in the 90s. At your time, you were good. You should be in this Hall of Fame. And God rest his soul, he passed away. He was a Sigma at A&T. He died a couple of years ago after we got inducted. But that was our man, Shannon. But yeah, Shannon got us signed up and got us in, helped us get in, and who else? I can't remember everybody. I think it was like 10 of us. We had some older folks in there too. We had the class of I think 53 or 54. Maybe it wasn't that far back, but it was a class. It was a football team that got inducted too, for winning, being the first black something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was 10 of us, and then that team.
Man, I said this on the HBCU alumni house party. Just excellence, just excellence, and Vern, when I see you, that's what I remember. Like, you were a celebrity. You still are.
I wish.
And to come into,
I appreciate that. I'm humbled.
The work that you do in this community. I was like, man, if I get with Vern, I might actually do right.
You silly.
I mean, because I look up to you. It's hard to say you're a golden delight. I don't have a championship ring. I'm running around proclaiming I am who I am.
Absolutely.
You have receipts, girl. And
Got few receipts.
You have receipts, and it's glory to God, right?
Absolutely. All things are possible.
And to use it, and you didn't just use it, you still continue to share it.
I do. I coach summer track, and like I said, I'm at Fayetteville State. And at first, I started out as a volunteer coach. I coached summer track since 2000, and people can't believe you've been coaching since 2000. As soon as I got out of school, I started coaching. Well, it's a whole funny story because I wasn't coaching, and my brothers were still in high school, and so they had a friend that was in high school with them, and they was like, she needs help. Do you have time to go out and help her out with the shot put? She was actually my neighbor. She lived on the street. And that's how I got started. My very first athlete was my neighbor that I ever coached. And she went to Garner High School.
What was her name?
Marquita Walters.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Her government name is Alicia Walters. We called her Marquita.
Do you know Imani and Hassan?
Imani and Hassan. What age are they?
Okay, she did she go to Marshall? And she was she's one of my son's friends, and she was extremely good in shot put.
What's her last name?
Clark.
Yes. Asana. Asana Clark. She went to Southeast Raleigh.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely know that name. She was very good at the discus.
Mm-hmm.
You participated in the shot put, you said?
I did.
A friend of mine, unfortunately, he passed away, but he was known as one of the strongest men because I ran track, but I was horrible at track, and I'll admit that I was horrible because I was a recruiter and a good recruiter. That's why the track people in Warrenton kept me on the team, because they knew I was going to recruit good players and we would win championships, which we did.
Absolutely.
3 of my 4 years, even though my senior year, I decided to recruit somebody that I could beat, and that's probably why we lost and everything. But Eric, I'm trying to think of Eric's last name, but Eric Perry was on the shot put and also the strongest man, and did a lot of stuff with sumo wrestling before he passed away and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, he was from Warren County and very much involved in the sport of track.
Is Warrenton in Warren County?
Yes, Warrenton is in Warren County.
Okay. Coach Kearney, Stan Kearney. Do you know him?
What's the name again?
Stan Kearney. He used to coach at A&T. That's Michelle's dad.
Okay.
He's in Warrenton.
I heard the name, and one of my classmates was Sheena Kearney. So there were a couple of Kearneys that were in that class and everything. So that name,
Michelle. You remember Michelle, of course. Sonny's. But her dad, Stan Kearney, is from Warrenton.
Oh wow, yeah. I was just talking to some folks down in Henderson. We want to make sure that as we start developing some initiatives to support schools here in the capital, I'll call right down there and say, hey, we want to share whatever our programs are, what resources we have to start, taking these to our rural areas and sharing, and then allowing them to share with us, what are you doing?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I'm
And
all
Shanice,
about how.
yeah. And Shanice, part of that is not reproducing, but also connecting with those that are already doing stuff. Because you mentioned the dance community, and I know that because she is a teacher as well as has her own company and everything. But Miss Oxendine, who runs the Empower Dance Studio in here in Durham, and is also taught on
Yes,
the school
yes.
level, has definitely done some stuff. And we just actually completed a program that included dance and was primarily a lot of dance with I think of Carolyn's last name, but it's over at Haiti. And they did a whole program that saluted Catherine Dunham. So a lot of these young kids got to learn the Catherine Dunham techniques and a lot of stuff around Catherine Dunham's
Awesome.
style of dance and everything. So they just completed that like a summer intensive, and they'll start another one. It'll be like a regular type of session in August. And I think that'll last pretty much all for the season. So it'll be probably like in the fall and winter and throughout. But that is definitely starting back in August. And that's a lot of that what you were just talking about, Shanice, because some of those elders that are still there, even though the founders may have passed on, like Baba Chuck Davis, a lot of their people that they mentored are still around. So definitely, I know that Carolyn was mentored, I think, by Catherine Dunham and some of the other greats, and definitely Sadia is a contemporary of Baba Chuck, and a lot of Baba Chuck's teachers who are now in their 50s and 60s, and even some that are in their 30s and 40s are still doing a lot of dance and are always looking for new opportunities. So they might even be willing to do that. And the last thing I was going to say is that you're talking about Sophia, North Carolina, but a friend of mine stopped by yesterday who's from Hamlet. That's where John Coltrane was born and everything. But he does a annual festival called that is about the John Coltrane. So it's the John Coltrane Edutainment Festival as opposed to the one that's in High Point. But he's been doing that for, I want to say it's going on almost 20 years, but they're doing that
Wow.
for a long time. And that's in the town of Hamlet where Coltrane is from, which is a very small town.
Nice. We definitely are working, Vern, to get the word out of opportunities for us to gather. We want to be together. Well, we're getting ready to ask a final thought for our time together.
Yeah, but I'm
Vern,
going to bounce off, so I'm going to turn it over to Vern and you. But it's been good popping in and conversating with y'all. So I'm going to pop out and still got to get you, Shanice, to get over there to Richard B. Harrison so you can go look at my grandmother's exhibits, since she's the one that started that library.
absolutely. We are going to make that happen too. We have so many fun things planned, Mark. Thank you. Vern,
Yes,
since
ma'am.
it's band, our final thought for today, if we were to do a band reunion, what are 2 activities that you would want to see?
Wait a minute. I think my sound is messing up. Can you repeat that?
Yes. If we were to do a band reunion, what are 2 activities you would like to see?
I still can't hear you. My thing is messing way up.
All right. Can you hear me now, Vern?
I can hear you, but it's like the words are kind of are mashing.
It's funny. I can hear you clearly.
In a band reunion,
Yes.
let me see what y'all have to at least march through. At least everybody has to get in the line and come march through. No, actually, at a band reunion, I would just like to see everybody come and enjoy each other, and not have to worry about working or doing something. Um,
Well, it looks like we made it all the way
It looked
through.
like you made it all the way through, and then his internet decided to have a moment that can happen. But that was a
Yes.
novel
But
idea that he
you know what
had.
Mark? The energy, like that whole thought just messed up the crystals in the whole, all the technology. It just couldn't handle it. It just couldn't handle it, Mark.
It just
Yeah,
couldn't. It just didn't know what to do with the band. It didn't know what to do with the band energy. It didn't know what to do with how to handle the band, and all in that space. And he's back, so we're going to see what he's got to say in that space. So the energy was there.
Vern, you
I'm
there for
sorry.
me?
Okay, it sounds better now.
All right, let's see. I'm listening.
just a band reunion. It's more about the camaraderie and the and the inner relationships that we all had. Just to see everybody at one time and not to have to work. You know, being able just to enjoy each other's company instead of, oh, we need to do this and this and we should all march in or march this way. You know, just come and enjoy it.
Girl, you about to make me do the ultimate band reunion. Just throw a gym jam.
Yeah. What?
It's what I want to do. Just a band themed, centered gym jam.
Yeah,
That
and then black people always love a color theme. You know, the clarinets wear green, or the such and such wear yellow. And, everybody come with they section color on,
yeah, because
because that's how they identify each other, by sections.
yes, and I'm just you know thinking in my mind that maybe it will happen, and my dream would be that it not just be A&T. Southeast Raleigh, they actually practice in my neighborhood. And
Really?
they were one day just out this way, I heard drums like Jumanji. Do, do, do. I was like, ooh, drums. And the closer I got, I started hearing cadences. And it was almost as if I thought, only God could do this for me. Only God could do this for me.
Bring you in.
Yes. And I
Yeah,
started.
like you smell the smell from a grill. Somebody's cooking something, and it pulls you in. You heard the
You didn't
music in the
know,
background.
Vern, it was the practice sound.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
There were no grills at practice, just Gatorade. And I thought these programs need support.
Yep,
Here
yep,
I've been
yep, yep.
doing cheerleading, but what can I do to help the band?
Yes.
And so, I was like, went back to what I just said. They could get a gym jam too.
Hmm.
I want to do what I always do, is put you on the spot and invite you to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I do what I always do. If ain't no track meet, I can show up. If I ain't got no meet, I ain't got nothing already planned. I'm trying to
But
tell you right
yeah,
now, I plan myself. Me and my mother are very we love to participate in all types of things. And so since she is retired, I try to include her in a lot of stuff. My mother is a graduate, 72 graduate of A&T as well. And
Aggie,
so she just did 50 years and I just did 25. So she's a golden Aggie and I'm a silver Aggie. Well, you're a silver Aggie too.
I am. Wait, Vern, you and your mom were at the commencement together?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
that's
So
you're
actually
you're
when I
you're
huh?
you're amazing. I just feel like, again, only God could do that. Like, I have children born on the same day. This is you.
Yeah,
You were born just in time for your mama and you to be at the same commencement.
absolutely. And then so with us being A&T graduates, I try to keep her involved with as many things as possible. So when
Hmm.
you say you put me on the spot, well, I don't know what kind of spot I'm gonna be on when I already got something booked. And we try to keep each other busy with things to do. And I know because if you're stale, if you're stagnant at home and not doing anything, that could lead to bad health. So I try
Hmm.
to keep her out and about.
Well, and that's why, Camp Fusion exists, and the experiences that are coming with it along throughout the year. I'm just so thankful for this opportunity to serve my elders and to mentor the youth and learn things for myself.
Yep.
And Vern, I mean, it's amazing. Our show is coming to a close now.
Yeah, it's coming to a close. I was going to tell you all that and everything, and I was going to tell you, Shanice, if you need me to, I'll call Keith up because he's actually the assistant athletic director at Southeast Raleigh. So if you're hearing too much instruments, I'll tell him to tone it down or to turn it up, depending on
Turn
if you
it
want
up.
it.
Turn it
Well, then,
up.
well, then Mr. Harding too, the principal.
Oh yeah, like I said, I don't know him, but I know he knows him quite well and everything. But yeah,
Oh
Keith has
yeah,
been the
Harding
assistant
used to be the
athletic
track
director
coach.
there for decades. So.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Harding and I have spoken often, and I've really been kind of hiding from myself, and now I'm just like, seeing you, Vern, really, I'm being serious when I say this. I was encouraged, and
Absolutely.
I really do thank you for the work that you're doing in Southeast Raleigh. That's where I live, obviously. And I look forward to us creating some wonderful things for our community. I do run a business that focuses on social enterprise. And so we're going to make some money and we're going to reinvest into our community. We're going to edutain and educate people.
Absolutely.
For being
Quick question for you, Vern, and then I've got a commercial to get us out of here that actually revolves around the question that I'm getting ready to ask you. But
Okay.
there is a gentleman in Oklahoma, of all places, that has put together an award ceremony. This ad that we're going to see is actually from one a few years ago, but it honors the teachers, but also the ones that are behind the scenes, be that the track athletes, the cafeteria workers, the janitors, or whatever. So with that being in mind, and with that being the commercial that's going to get Shanice out of this particular show and everything, what are your thoughts around those that are in education that don't always get the accolades? So definitely I'd love to hear your thoughts about those people, because I know track is, and the coaches are one of those, but definitely we oftentimes don't pay attention to the janitors and the cafeteria and a number of the others, and even the counselors. But I'd love to hear your thoughts about education and those that are the unsung heroes.
Yeah, definitely. The more important of all people are the teachers, the janitors, the people that's always in the background, always have your support no matter what. Definitely, that is a good thing. I'm surprised that we've gone this long and not had something like that in North Carolina. I would, it's so many things, that so many people in the background that you can't even name them all, but just to name a few is always good, and I really appreciate those people in my life, especially. And when I, just not to go off to the left, and when I got inducted into the Hall of Fame at A&T, I had to invite my high school coach. I had to invite his wife, who put up with all of us all those years. I had to invite the people that put me on as coaches in the years after I graduated college. You have to definitely go back and get those people and pull them up. You cannot let them go unnoticed. You must show your appreciation. And that is definitely something, it definitely hits home with a lot of athletes who love the people that are in their background and their chain coming up the line. Definitely very important, very important.
No doubt. I'm going to turn it over to you, Shanice, but whenever you end the show, that is going to be the commercial. It is a gentleman out of Oklahoma, but I think he's going to travel and start bringing it to other states as well, because I think the one in this year will be in August, which will be next month, but this is from the time he did it during right before the pandemic. So I think it's may say 2020 or something like that, but he is definitely doing it and continuing to do it. So that will be the commercial that gets us on out of here. But I'm going to drop off, let you do whatever closing, and whatever you tell me that you're wrapping up, that's what they'll see at the end.
Thank you, Mark. Vern, thank you so much for being with us again. You and I, let's connect, of course, on what I'm doing. Fusion. Y'all check out Camp Fusion, North Carolina. Check out Miss Novelty and DJ Moschino at Haymaker on Saturday. I'm looking forward to either doing a pre or a post party, just a little something, a private invitation going out to some of my friends, just want to hang out with some people and see what's going on, talk about some things. And then I'll be headed off to camp on Monday of next week. Go to your council meetings, guys. Share information that you hear in our community, and let's go ahead and start working on getting a gym jam in support of our Raleigh band, since we are understanding how important the 90s were. And the name of the show today was "It Was All a Dream," from the 90s to forever.
Absolutely.
Vern, thank you so much. And now, Mark.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sweetheart. We're going to be wrapping this up. Till next time on Dreamstock.
Thank you, Pride.
I won't fold, I won't drop until we on top. Only going non-stop. I won't fold, I won't drop until we on top. Only going non-stop.
I want to thank everyone for coming to the 2020 TAF Awards. This was a show like no other, people. This is the Grammys for dignitaries, educators, and support staff around the state of Oklahoma and worldwide. We cannot do this without the support of the people. So we thank you, I thank you, for being such a dedicated supporter to this movement for for the Teachers Appreciation Foundation. I thank you.
I won't fold.